Hey, everybody, and welcome to the presentation today. My name is Trevor, and I will be your host. We're talking eBay again, and we're talking about some changes that are rolling out on October 15th. So that's just a few days from now. It's the 9th today. Here in less than a week, eBay is going to roll out some changes that we're going to chat about. Before we do, though, I want to just preface our little discussion today by asking you guys, as eBay sellers, and especially if you guys are doing some drop shipping, you'll have learned that one of the biggest things that we preach in this program is that you have to list a lot of products consistently to make money, right? You've heard me either say it, you may have heard your consultant say it, but we hang our hat on the idea that more is better, more products is better. And that theory comes from just any store that you walk into. I mean, there's a reason why when you walk into a convenience store or a gas station that they have more than one type of drink offered, right? In fact, if you look on the walls or on the shelves of a gas station, they have like 1,000 different types of snacks and dozens and dozens of different types of drinks. Well, why do they do that? Well, because there's a lot of people that are going to be walking into that gas station, and there's a lot of different preferences, right? Walmart, for example, you walk into a Walmart, and there's tens of thousands of products on their shelves. And you wonder why Walmart's a multi-billion-dollar company. Well, it's in part because they offer a little bit of everything. And I'm not suggesting you guys become like a Walmart and have tens of thousands of products. You don't need to do that, but you need to have hundreds. And if you don't, you're going to struggle using drop shipping. This is definitely a volume strategy. So the challenge behind that is, from a financial standpoint, is there's a fee that keeps coming up when you start listing lots and lots of products. Guys, for those of you guys that know, what is that fee that we're talking about? What's it called? Do you know? It's that fee that you, once you reach a certain number of listings, you get hit with this fee over and over again. Yeah, it's the 30-cent fee. It's the insertion fee, they call it, right? eBay has two different types of fees. They have what's called a final value fee and an insertion fee. A final value fee only hits your account when you sell an item. An insertion fee will hit your account generally when you list during a calendar month up to a certain number of listings. Well, what is it right now, guys? What has it been in the past? If you have just a normal eBay account, how many listings can you do in a calendar month before they actually charge you an insertion fee? 20, right? It's been 20, and it's been 20 for well over a year. Used to be more than that, and then they dropped it to 20. And so, anyway, 20 has been the number. So if you're in a calendar month and you list, let's say you list 10 items, right? And each item is a 7-day listing. So you list your first 10 items, a week goes by, and all those items, let's say none of them sell, and so all of them go off of eBay. If you relist them, you're up to your 20th listing, because an item that's being relisted over and over counts as one of those listings. So you could have 10 items for essentially 2 weeks listed for 7 days each, and then you would hit your maximum of 20 listings. And then each additional relist or new item is going to cost you 30 cents every single time you put it up onto eBay. Those are insertion fees. That's problematic for you guys if you're volume sellers, because it's hard to afford 30 cents every single time you list a new item, right? So what eBay is doing right now is they're increasing that for both standard accounts and eBay store accounts. How many of you guys that are with me right now have an active eBay store? And how many of you guys just have a normal eBay account? Now, some of you guys do. About half and half right now. Half have normal accounts, half have stores. Okay. So if you have a normal account, here's the change that eBay is making. So on October 15th, eBay is going to adjust that. And in fact, I'm going to send this link out to everybody. This is coming from the announcements page. There you go. I just sent that link out to everybody so you can read it for yourself. eBay says it's holiday ramp-up time. I guess that's part of why they're doing this. They say, we're excited, and I know a lot of you are too, but I want to be sure, so we're kicking it up a notch and announcing something that many of you have personally asked me for, more free zero insertion fee listings starting October 15th. They go on to say that starting October 15th, this is for sellers without an eBay store subscription. So if this is you, if you just have a normal eBay account, here's what happens. It says you'll get an increased monthly allotment from 20 to 50 zero insertion fee listings for auction style, fixed price for most categories. So it doesn't matter if you do an auction or just a normal fixed price listing. Instead of 20, you get 50 free, which is great, right? That more than doubled your normal monthly allotment. Now, I don't know how long that'll last. They don't say that it's got an end date. It could be something they do long term. It could end after the holidays, but it certainly didn't say that there was going to be an end date. So we'll see how long that continues. But bottom line, that's positive, because if you don't have an eBay store, you're going to get 50 free listings. That's good news, right? Now, that's for normal eBay accounts. You guys that have an eBay store, you also benefit from this. For eBay store subscribers, for a store, just a normal basic level store, you guys get 150 free listings. That's been the standard. They're going to push that up to 200. So you get an additional 50 free listings. Pretty substantial changes. I mean, those are actually really nice, because if you've ever listed in bulk before, you know as well as I do, those eBay fees can come back and hurt you. The insertion fees can. We operate under the pretense that if you list enough and you do it well enough, that your sales and your profits are going to far offset the fees that you're incurring, and you'll end up being just fine in the long run. But we'll take any little bit of help that we can get, right? So does that make sense, guys? If you have a store, it goes from 150 free to 200 free. If you don't have a store, it goes from 20 free to 50 free. Now, let me ask you guys a question. At what point as an eBay seller should you be considering getting an eBay store? An eBay store, a basic level store, costs about $20 a month. If you pay on a monthly basis, it's a fixed fee of $20 a month. At what point would it make sense, good financial sense, to go ahead and switch your account over to an eBay store account? First of all, you got to at least be comfortable with the $20 a month, right? And I know a lot of you guys, when you first get in, you're trying to keep your costs to a minimum. And so that's why quite a few of you say, no, I'm just going to do the standard account until I'm making enough money to where I feel like I can justify a store. And that's fine. For those of you guys where financially you're not too tied up and you feel like you can get a store, at what point does it make sense for you to go and get one? And I guess when I say get a store, really what I mean by that is you just upgrade your account to a store level, which, by the way, on this announcement, they're saying that you get a free trial of the store for a month as long as you sign up by October 31st. So if I were you guys that have normal accounts, whether I plan on getting a store soon or not, I would go ahead and sign up for their free trial. You could call into eBay to do that. There's a link here that they have where it says learn more. And this is where you can come in and try a store. You just hit activate now right here. I'll send this link out to all of you guys as well. That's on its way out. So if I were you guys, I had a normal account, why not use the store for a month? You'd get 200 free listings. And if you didn't want to keep it at the end of the month, cancel it. But at least during that month, you could do all those listings with no insertion fees. Save yourself a little bit of money. Think about it this way, guys. If an insertion fee, this is for you guys that are thinking about, you're considering getting a store, but you're not really sure at what point you should get it. Well, if we're operating on the pretense that 50 items is what we get free each month, on your 51st listing, it would cost you 30 cents to put up a listing, right? On your 52nd listing, that would be another 30 cents. Okay? So the question is, if an eBay store costs $20, how many listings should you be doing before you actually get your eBay store? Well, it's going to be whatever, 50 plus about 67. So if you list in a calendar month 117 listings, that doesn't mean just new products. That means you either list or you relist up to 117 times. That's your break-even point. On your 118th item listed, you would need to get a store because it would make financial sense at that point. So if you're listing on that kind of level, and for those of you who are newer, maybe you're not listing on that level yet, but as soon as you can, and you've got more like 100, 115, 120 listings going, you need to get a store. And if you're thinking you're going to be at that level anytime soon, now's the time. Go get it while you can get it for free for a month. Cool thing about a store is if you get a store, you'll get the 200 free listings, and then after that, it's not going to be 30 cents. It's going to be 20 cents instead. So it's going to lessen by 33% your insertion fee costs with a store. And then the other big benefit is if you're selling on a regular basis, you save a full percentage point on your final value fees. They're usually 10%. They're taken down to 9%. So there's a lot of benefit to having a store. I'm always a little more cautious with my clients and recommending you get one, only because I don't want to put any pressure on you guys to spend money. If you want to get a store for $20 a month, do it. If you don't, you want to stay with your standard account, that's fine too. We can work with that. But in the long run, like I made the point earlier, if you want to take this from more of just kind of a hobby, sort of like you make a little money here and there type of situation, up to something that can really actually pay the bills and make pretty good money long term, you need to get a store. You need to have a ton of listings, right? I say it time and time again. My best clients that are making great money and doing well with drop shipping specifically on eBay, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items listed. One of my clients had at one point like 950 listings, almost 1,000 listings active, using certain retail companies as his supplier. Never used wholesalers, only used retailers, and it worked out really well for him. But part of that is just knowing which retailers to use, and that's a process that we all have to go through and finding the right products. But if you can visualize having that many listings up, that's life-changing kind of money that you can make off of something like that. But the challenge is insertion fees, right? It comes with a cost, and so that's why I'm chatting about it today, because I want to try to lessen your guys' insertion fee burden, okay? Okay, questions about that real quick before I move on? Okay, that's the big announcement. That just came out on the 5th, so literally just 4 days ago. And this will all be rolling out here on October 15th, okay? Here's the other thing I wanted to mention to you guys. I got this message in my eBay inbox just the other day. You know how you've got a messages section, like a little eBay section, or I'm sorry, not eBay, but email section on your eBay account? If you come into your account, you'll have an activity tab, a messages tab, and an account tab. Well, under messages, that's where eBay will send you messages, or customers will send you messages. It's kind of like your personal email account within eBay. Well, I got this on the 7th. It's a seller promotion, and they say for 6 days only, you can list up to 2,000 items for free. And you'll see this every once in a while. If you keep your eyes peeled, you'll see an opportunity where eBay is going to run out these promotions where they'll give you a weekend or they'll give you a better part of a week, and they'll give you some crazy number and say, hey, list as much as you want. It's all free. It's not going to cost you anything. I could come here and hit activate offer, and I could take advantage of that. So I tell you that this doesn't go out to everybody. It'll go out to some sellers. They're choosy sometimes on who they give it to. Sometimes they give it to all sellers, other times just to a few. Did any of you guys get this, by the way, a few days ago? This was sent out on the 7th, so just a couple of days ago. Any of you guys who are here live with me get this same promotion? Barbara, you did? Okay. Yeah. Robert, you didn't see it. Gail saw it. Julianne saw it. Barbara saw it. Okay. Yeah, interesting. If you didn't see it this time, Robert, they may send you a different one later. It just depends. I've gotten offers where my clients haven't, and vice versa. Anyway, watch for those offers and take advantage of them. Lessen your burden with those insertion fees. Okay. To your question, Annette, you said with a store subscription, is it better to do fixed listings with best offer, and what time limit is best? 30 days or good till sold? What do you recommend? Well, I'll tell you what I do. I don't do a lot of the best offer listings. And now it's not to say that that's not a good option. I know some of my colleagues here in the office with me, they say they do pretty well offering a best offer. That's just a format. When you're creating a listing, guys, you can say, I want it fixed price, and I want, if somebody that sees this item wants to give me a lower price offer on it, I allow them to give me an offer. I find that if you have a lot of listings up, the majority of your offers that come in are pretty low ball offers and aren't the greatest. I end up countering, and we never end up really agreeing on anything. And so for me, I've found that it's more of kind of a headache than it is a help. So I prefer just to do straight fixed price listings on my eBay account. In terms of the duration, I do a little bit of both. I do some 30-day listings. I do some 7-day listings. Statistically, 7-day listings get your products more visibility on eBay. The downside to a 7-day listing is over the course of a month, a 7-day listing will relist 4 times, right? Well, that's 4 of your listings used up right there, okay? Whereas if you do a 30-day listing, you do 1 listing and it stays up onto eBay for the entire month. You just don't often get as much exposure. Your rankings aren't as good with a 30-day listing as they would be with a 7-day that's relisted 4 times. That's what we found. Some of my clients prefer 30 days, especially if you're more insertion fee sensitive and you don't want to pay the extra 30 cents. But now that you've got higher free listings, maybe that won't be as much of an issue for you. Okay, good question. Michelle says, when relisting an item, do you put the item in your shopping cart to see if it is still available? I've had a lot of items out of stock because of Halloween. I noticed it's really hard with some retailers to sell when it's out of stock. Yeah, for sure. In fact, Halloween can do that sometimes. You almost have to kind of watch your Halloween listings like a hawk, because stuff will sell out. Yeah, and if it sells out and you get the sale, you still have to manage your customer and maybe find it somewhere else or refund their money. I mean, we won't talk about that whole situation, but yeah, I mean, it depends on the supplier, Michelle. Some suppliers you can, before you relist the item, you're going to want to go over, add the item to your cart and just make sure that it's still in stock, because that'll tell you if it is or not. Other suppliers, not so much. In fact, I've been fortunate enough to find some suppliers that they're so good with their inventory that so rarely do they run out of stock that I just sort of count on the item being in stock. And those suppliers are out there. You got to find them, but they definitely are out there. Breaky says, what type of listing or product would be feasible to offer a best offer option I'm only doing fixed price thus far. You know, anything really, Breaky, can fall under that. I'll tell you when I've been most successful with best offer is on my stuff that I source directly out of China. So I've got products that I source out of China that I've told you guys about before that my price on them is like $1 and I sell them on eBay for about 20. Well, on those types of products, because my cost is so low, I'll put best offer, and oftentimes if somebody, you know, doesn't want to pay 20 but they're willing to pay 12, I'll still take it because I have unlimited supply out of China. I carry my own inventory, and hey, I still got it for $1. If I sell it for 12, I'm actually still making a healthy product or a healthy profit off of the product still. So I'll do it. So I've done best offer, not so much with my drop shipping stuff, more off of my own inventory or my stuff from home. That's when I think it's most feasible. So Michelle asked, how do you decide on which listings to do for 30 days? The ones that I do for 30 days are ones that have sold in the past. Because if I get an item that sells in the past and then continues to sell over and over again, a 30-day listing is then appropriate because that'll get higher rankings within eBay. So it's for past sellers that I'll typically try it out with. Julianne, I'm not sure I'm 100% following you. You said, I thought you had a choice to relist. You do. I guess I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to. Clarify that for me if you can. Okay, well, guys, we are just about finished. I'll give you guys another minute to ask a few more questions, and then if you have any suggested topics or things you'd like us to spend some more time on these Friday webinars, I'd be happy to do it. I mean, I really do take your suggestions pretty seriously. So if you've got a few, type them in and let me know. Janice, yeah, let me answer that question. She says, how often are you charged the 30 cents on an item? You're charged once you break that threshold. So let's say you have a normal account, Janice. Starting October 15th, you'll get 50 listings for the month, okay? So that means on your 51st item that's either listed new or relisted, you're going to get charged 30 cents on that. And then the next item that month, your 52nd newly listed item or relisted item will be charged at 30 cents, so on and so forth. That's how that works. So it doesn't have to do, it just has to do with the number of relisted items or newly listed items you do. Michelle, you say, I think we could do or use a webinar on finding retailers or places to get our items from. I know that we have went over it in the past, but I still have a hard time finding them. Sure. Yep. I'll put that on the list. It's a pretty common question. We talk about using major retailers and then trying to find niche-like suppliers and then even wholesale drop shippers at some point. We could spend some more time on that. Good suggestion. Jeff, you say, discuss wholesaler drop ship pricing strategy, where to find drop shippers, what to ask. Okay. Yep. I think that's a good thought, Jeff, for sure. We don't spend nearly enough time on that in these. We can talk about that. Julianne, you say, or after 7 days, for example, does eBay relist it automatically? It does if you select that. So when you're first listing an item, there's an option during the time where you're putting in all the information about the item, where you can select to have it automatically relist. It does count as a relisted item. So even if you've signed up for automatic relist, that still is going to continue to count as a new listing. eBay just automatically puts it up for you. Need a webinar on sales tax and shipping on your own item? Good, Julianne, that's great. I'll make a note of that. Give me a sec. I'm going to make these notes before I forget. Annette, you say, how do I look up who is a top-rated plus seller on eBay to see what they are selling? Top-rated, you usually see a little emblem. So like if I'm on eBay right now, and I search for a pink office chair, you see, so as I'm scrolling through these listings here, you can see top-rated plus right here, this little seal. That means that person is a top-rated seller. And I think you can actually filter that way. No, let's see. It doesn't look like you can filter by top-rated seller, but you can tell who is a top-rated seller by seeing that little seal there. Oh yeah, Gail, that would be a good one. Did you call eBay about that yet, Gail? When you're, I know that when you're inside your, Gail's working on some shipping options right now with some of her products, and you find that area typically, Gail, if you're in your My eBay section like this, you go to account first, and then you go to site preferences second, which I'll click on. And then third, you look for shipping preferences, which is right here, shipping preferences, and then you've got offer promotional shipping discounts right here. I think that's where you usually will look. If you don't see that on your account, that's why I'm saying you might have to contact eBay about it. But it's under site preferences, shipping preferences, offer promotional shipping discounts. Okay. Hopefully that helps. Okay. So let me, we got to finish up the webinar, guys. We're on for next week. I do appreciate your suggestions. I want to make these these Friday webinars as helpful as they can be. I know ultimately it's you and your coach that are working at this together, and some of you guys are working with me directly, and that's fine. But I want these to really supplement your training in a way that, you know, week in and week out you can come and you feel like you're really learning some stuff that's going to help you build this business on eBay. That's our goal, of course. Schedule for next week, we've got other webinars you can watch. I'll be doing a Thursday one again. If you guys want to come and see mine, I'll be Thursday live. It'll be 4 Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, or 7 Eastern, and then we'll be doing the same time next week for our eBay, okay? All righty, guys. Well, I'll finish up. Thank you for coming along. Take advantage of what we talked about today, and we'll be in touch for sure. We'll see you next time.